Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be making a kind of pocket bike video. If you're having trouble getting yours started. So first things first, what we're looking at here is my brother won this at the X a few years ago. It's a 47cc, super shitty Chinese made pocket bike. If you're having problems getting yours started, I have a video here that will hopefully be able to help you. Just so you're all aware, I've removed that plastic because it was just getting in the way when I was trying to do some of the repairs on it. Now I've had a lot of problems with this and I've been able to fix it myself. I've never taken small engine repair or anything, and I'm basically making this video if you don't really need much background knowledge on how to fix these to do it, and I don't have much of that, so I'm just I've been learning, I've been researching, and I've found out a few things about this, and I know how to fix at least one of the problems. So I'm having a problem right now where it is starting but it's not riding, and I think I know maybe what's causing that, but this video should also help you if it's just not starting at all. So for those of you who might be experiencing a similar problem to what is happening right now, I'm going to start it up for you just so you can see. It's just bogging out, and then for those of you that maybe rode the pocket bike once and then it wouldn't start, that's what happened to us. You may have left this is your gas on off. Sorry, there's a more official term for that, but I can't remember. And if you had left that open when you weren't using the pocket bike, you may have come back to find that it wouldn't start. And I'm also going to be showing you guys how to fix that if that's the problem that you're having. But let me just quickly show you what it's like when I try to start this. Okay, so I'm going to open up the gas line here. I'm going to open up the choke, push the start button, give it a bit of throttle. Now, one other thing I just wanted to quickly mention is I've changed out the fuel line that was in here. I've put in this Prestone 1/4 inch fuel line. I just got this from Canadian Tire. I may have been a little bit lucky. I've also replaced these. These are the stock spring clamps that hold the lines to whatever they're connecting to, but I just found these are way too skinny, and our fuel hose that came stock on this bike had cracked. It was just really shitty plastic. It's brittle and it doesn't bend well. It had cracked right here, so it was leaking fuel, so I had to buy this stuff. It came with 2 feet, so I've got a bit left over, but that is definitely a good thing that I was able to find that. You just have to make sure you keep that fuel bulb. This is up in there. You have to keep that midway through the line, but basically just cut the lengths to what they were on the stock line, and then swap them out, and that was a good change. So if you just do happen to realize we've got these zap straps, we put those there because I was afraid those things would cut it, and that is not the original fuel line. But let me show you how to fix up your carb if you're having the problem that I'm having. So these are some of the tools that you're going to need. This tray is one of these that I would recommend having around. This is just a like from a takeout container or something. Make sure you clean it out completely. Some paper towel because you might get some gas dripping. The flathead screwdriver, 2 Phillips, just various sizes. Wire cutters. I only really need those because I've got the zap straps. You may not need those. Pliers you probably want to have around. Allen keys. These are the essentials. Compressed air or some type of carb cleaner. That's when we're cleaning out the carb, and I've got this wrench just in case. I'm not sure if I'm going to need that These are the tools that came with the bike. I've actually got some of the bolts that were in there because we took off all that plastic, but basically you might be able to use these. These are just a crappier version. Everything's a little bit more compact, which is good and bad, I guess, but you might be able to get away with just using those, but I've got my own tools here. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take the tray that you've cleaned out. You want it to be clean, especially if you're not reusing the fuel, it doesn't matter, but if you're planning that you might reuse whatever fuel is in there, then you're going to want to put this. Okay, so this is the bike flipped upside down. I just placed some wood here to keep it from all resting on the ground. That's just metal on wood on concrete, a little bit better than this plastic on the concrete. Yes, now the part we're going to be working on, if your bike is not starting, if you're having the problem where it doesn't sound like any gas is making it, is this piece right here. Now this muffler kind of gets in the way, so the first thing that I would do is remove these two bolts. It requires a 5mm Allen key, also included in the little bag of tools if you got that. I've already loosened them off, so I can just hand loosen them. And just keep in mind there's a washer there. You're going to want to keep that. So once you have those removed, this can kind of be pushed to the side. There's also a piece of rubber. Sorry, I don't know if you can see that there. Just make sure that kind of sticks with everything, because you're going to want that to be back in place before you put it back on. And the part you're going to be working on is right there. So you're going to need your flathead screwdriver, and you're going to have to, sorry, not flathead, sorry, Phillips screwdriver, and we're going to have to remove 2 screws. Now the 2 screws to be removed are this one right here, which was tight, and then this is where it comes in helpful, being able to push the muffler aside. It's kind of tough to do with one hand though. And this screw right here. Just leave this screw on the top of the bowl alone, and I'm going to just loosen these off and then show you. Okay, so now I have removed those 2 screws. Now this is a part, there will likely be fuel inside of this. So this is a part where you might want to use your tray, or just to warn you guys, there might be some fuel in there. You're just going to want to pull this overflow. Sorry, I didn't film that. This just pulls out from there, and you're going to want to lift this bowl up and out. Okay, so now that I've removed the bowl, this is what you'll see. Now this is the quick fix. This is without having removed the whole carb from the bike. This will probably be easier if you haven't really worked with engines before, so it's a little bit less ideal with pulling some of these parts out, but I've got the bowl right here. You're going to want to put it down somewhere clean, because this is a important part to keep clean, and that's maybe what's causing yours not to start. Now here you can see there's this white piece, that's the float. It allows fuel in and out, and then that kind of brass looking piece is the jet. The jet has an extremely small hole in it that if you ever left your gas line open or anything, could have became plugged up with dirt. So what we're going to be doing is just taking out that jet and cleaning it, as well as this, because I see this has a little bit of dirt on it. So I'm going to pull this white piece out, pull the float out, and you're going to want to give this a wipe down as well. Now for removing the jet, and like I mentioned, there is a little bit of fuel down in the bottom there. Now I'm going to remove the jet. So here I've removed the jet. This is what it looks like. It's actually 2 pieces, and this top part comes off from the bottom part. But this is what's going to be causing any issues for you. This has an extremely small pinhole in it that all of your gas passes through, and if that pinhole is clogged, it won't allow fuel into the engine. Let's just see if I can. So it appears to be okay, but it looks a little bit dirty. Anyways, what you're gonna want to do is take your compressed air. I'm gonna need 2 hands for this, so I'm gonna have to put this down for a sec. Yeah, so take the jet in one hand, take your compressed air can. You're gonna need that little red tube or your air compressor if you've got one of those attachments that makes it I don't know what the specific name is, the attachment with the tip on it. and blow some air there. Now hopefully, after having done all this, you can see that this is a very sensitive part, because that hole is so small. If anything makes it through your fuel filter and into the carb, and it's bigger than that, like any speck of dirt, it's going to clog it up. Your bike won't start. Okay, now we're going to put this back in. If you want, you could remove either piece and do a real thorough cleaning. Try not to leave this open for too long, because if anything's falling from the sky, any dust is getting kicked up and in there, it's obviously not good for it. And like I mentioned, the best thing to do would be to take it out and do a full clean, but this is a quick fix. So now this goes with the threads down back into where it was, and you can actually tighten it back up with the flathead screwdriver, because as you're tightening the top piece, it's kind of tightening them both. The top piece has a flathead slit in it. So if you want, you can grab the pliers, tighten down that bottom part as well. I just did it from the top. Now you're going to want to grab your float, which you've hopefully been keeping clean. The little ridge end up. Put that on there. Grab your bowl. It can only go on one way because the hinge for the float. But now grab your bowl. So now that I've tightened that back up, that's on there. The rubber seal is perfectly in place. That's another thing to be sure of. Sorry. Now you just put this overflow tube back through the little hole that it went through. Just like that. Perfect. And now you don't want to forget about this. Obviously, you want to put this back on. So I'm just going to grab those two, put those back on. Okay, so I've tightened everything up again. I've flipped the bike back around. You shouldn't have any screws left over or anything. Everything should be back where it was. So, you know, if you have something laying around, make sure you find out where that came from. Put it back in there. I'm going to put a bit more gas in there. See if I can get it to start now. Of course, make sure your gas is mixed with the oil. Okay. And it actually would have been a good idea to wear some sort of gloves, because my hands are kind of covered in gas now. So we're gonna open up the fuel line, open up the choke, give it a little bit of gas, allow a bit into there, priming pulse.